from Screen Junkie Studios in the heart of Los Angeles, this is Screen Junkies Movie Fights. Now your host, Andy Signor.
Greetings, Screen Junkies. Welcome back to another episode of Movie Fights. So happy to be here live. If you're watching on Screen Junkies Plus at ScreenJunkies.com, you can hashtag us at Movie Fights Live to join in the conversation. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome as well. We're so happy to have this gentleman back. You guys have asked for him. Where is he at? Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Carlson's here. Mike would like to be introduced as the face that runs the place. Okay, let me do that again. JT, back to my close-up. Ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Oh, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest is the face that runs the place, Mike Carlson.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Dude, well, not only that, but when Mike tells me I got two funny friends I want to bring on the show, I listen. So I'm so happy to introduce these next two guys, the writers of Fist Fight, which looks very funny. I'm very excited to see it coming out. First up, he's one of the writers out this weekend, Evan Susser. Welcome, Evan.
Hey, how's it going? I'm excited to be here. I love what you've built here. Mike Carlson's a dear friend. Van Robichaux is my writing partner. I think this is going to be a great time. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be great. He's the other writer of Fist Fight, Van Robichaux. Welcome, man.
Hey, yeah, good to be here. Happy to come on and do some fighting.
Now, have you actually seen the show, or did Mike just say this is a good show to come on? Be honest.
Both.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Hopefully you watched one of Mike's, because Mike gets a little weird, so that way you know how to take this on. Great. Always fact-checking, as always, back on the couch. So happy to have him, Mr. Dan Merle.
Hello. I'm excited to fact-check for this episode.
Next to you on the fan cam, it's Shane Slosher. I ended up screwing up Shane and not getting Slosher.
You psyched yourself out, Andy.
I know, I did it. Shane, welcome. Where are you from?
Near Vancouver, British Columbia.
Oh, cool. Welcome to
Canadian.
the States.
Thank you.
That's
We're happy to be here.
what we're called up there, right?
Yes.
Yes, good. The booth mic's on.
Yeah. Is it just us that can hear that? Or can
No,
everyone
I think
hear
everyone
that?
did.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, good.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, today's episode's a lot of fun. Great fights, including what is the greatest all-time fist fight?
Yeah.
See what we did there?
That's good.
I hope you
Good
guys.
branding.
I would assume you did some research watching movie fist fights.
Sure,
before you
sure.
did it. So this is gonna be a good one. Also, what's the greatest? Which Arnold Schwarzenegger character would kill all the others in a battle royale? And what series should cross over with the 50 Shades franchise? That'll be an interesting take. So again, like I said, hashtag Movie Fights Live. Dan will be policing the Twitters. What do you say, guys? Shall we get to this?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Come on! Let's get nuts.
I want to fight you.
You want to fight? Let him fight.
Stop this fight, I'll kill you.
I could do this all day.
Whew,
I feel like Fist Fight's going to be in that montage
I
one
know,
of these
I
days.
know.
It's got to be.
Good shots for it.
I mean,
Yeah.
let's talk about no pressure at the show's movie fights. I hope there's a moment. Is there a good moment we should be putting in that opening?
Ice Cube when he says, "I'm going to fight you."
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
All right, good. No, let's make a note. Well, but this is the question that makes the most sense for you guys. We wanted to bring here. I assume you did. I mean, honestly, I assume you had to look up some other fist
Sure,
fight,
absolutely.
especially comedies and stuff.
Yeah.
So this will be relevant for the movie, which comes out not this. It is this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah,
This weekend, yeah.
early
Oh, great.
showings tonight, and
Oh,
then
great.
Friday, Saturday, it's open
Oh,
everywhere.
Love
Why?
it. Love it. I'm seeing it this weekend. Fist fight. Check it out. Well, let's ask the question: what is the greatest all-time movie fist fight? Now, no weapons. No weapons.
No weapons.
It's got to be a fist fight. Can have some kicks, which is got to be the body. Mike, what are you picking? This came from Nathan W. 39899689.
Okay. I am picking the fight between Edward Norton's character and Jared Leto's character in Fight Club. Now, there are more fun fights in Fight Club. This is the ugliest, the dirtiest, the most down and ugly, gross fight. It's quick, it's brutal, it's ugly. It displays the toxic masculinity that pervades the movie Fight Club. See, me personally, I'm very anti-violence. So when I see a fight scene, I want it to actually show the real-life repercussions of violence. This is a fight that makes you go, what are we watching? What are we now complicit in? We were thinking this fighting was fun, and now it's not so fun anymore. And also, this fight has the shit getting kicked out of Jared Leto, which is great.
Got it. Evan.
I'm going with the Karate Kid. Daniel LaRusso is going to fight. Daniel LaRusso is going to fight. Is there a more thrilling moment in 80s cinema than that moment? His leg has been swept. He's getting back onto the mat, and he's going to fight Johnny anyway. And what does he do? You know, he's trying to do it first his normal way. It's not working, so he has to resort to the crane method. And he kicks him. And now I know preemptively one of you guys are going to knock me and say that this is a kick. But what are feet but the fists of the lower body? Now, and just I know we're going to get into it in a minute, but I don't even think, Mike, you've picked the best fight in Fight Club. Obviously, it should be Edward Norton beating up himself. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Ooh, he's already fighting
all
in
right,
his
all
opening
right.
monologue. I love it. Van, what are you picking?
So I have gone ahead and I've picked the fight between Keith David and Rowdy Roddy Piper in the They Live, their alley fight. I believe at the time that fight appeared on screen at 5 minutes and 53 seconds. It was the longest fist fight that had appeared in a film, a contiguous fist fight with no breaks between it or cutaways to other scenes. And in the first draft of our script fist fight, we said that we wanted to make sure that this fist fight was more brutal and more intense than the fist fight in They Live between Rowdy Roddy Piper and Keith David. And I feel like the movie delivered on it, but this fist fight between Keith David and Rowdy Roddy Piper will always be the king of fist fights.
It's true, and we did reference it. I knew that Van was going to say They Live. But what Karate Kid has, which They Live unfortunately does not, is a great catharsis that comes at it. At the end, not only is Daniel-san triumphant, he also, Johnny runs over to him and says, "You're all right, little buddy." You know, by being defeated, by triumphing, he even, you know, earns the respect of a bully. And isn't that what we're looking for ultimately in fights? And I completely disagree with Mike. While I also am a nonviolent person in cinema, I think that fights are great because they can be cathartic, and those are the best kind of movie fights. And that, you know, in Karate Kid, it's a fight that's been building up for the entire movie, and it's very satisfying, the ending.
Well, first of all, I want to take issue with what Evan said about feet being the fists of the legs, okay? That is absurd. The toes don't have nearly the mobility that a hand does, okay? So we can't even compare these just based on physical limitations.
In a fist fight, how often are you using individual fingers?
Well, that means that you have more of there's a fulcrum for pummeling.
I could make a fulcrum with my toes.
You know, yeah,
I'd like to see him do that
I don't
right
want to
now.
team up on Mike here, but I feel like fist fights often they contain a lot of grappling, they contain a lot of shoving and pushing, and lots of things that aren't punches. And I don't see any reason why kicks shouldn't be equally valued.
Look, you see a man become disfigured, which is what happens when violence happens, okay? You see Jared Leto, he doesn't look like the pretty star. And did I mention he gets beaten up? That is fun. That is a great thing. That is a more cathartic moment than either of these two combined.
Well, I think you're contradicting yourself now, though, because you are saying that you want violence to be shown to be ugly and to be a bad thing, but then you're also making the argument that it's a great thing to see Jared Leto, someone who I'm assuming you personally do not like, or you don't like the role.
I didn't say I don't like him.
Well, but you're implying that there's something that's
like
satisfying.
Personally have never met him, so I would never be able to say if I like him or not. I'm just saying.
But you're trying to have it both ways. You're trying to say it's satisfying for him to be beat up, and that also violence should be portrayed in movies in a non-glamorous way.
There's an exception to every rule.
You know, speaking
in this
of
instance, Jared Leto getting beaten up is the exception to what I'm trying to say.
Well, speaking of having it both ways, I have to say I do object to a fight that its most famous moment is a kick being considered the best fist fight.
Yes, of course.
While I don't think kicking should disqualify a fight from being a fist fight, I think if the most well-known, most epic moment of your fight is a famous kick, I think that automatically disqualifies you from being the best fist fight.
It's mostly kicks. There's a couple of punches, and it's like mostly kicks.
In the Karate Kid?
Yeah.
Well, sure.
That's the whole thing, is it's kicks. So many
What about They
kicks.
Live? I'm not hearing anything against
All right,
They
well,
Live.
They Live.
There's a reason you're not.
Because it's not a very well-remembered movie.
No one remembers this. I watched it just
I think if you
an
check the
hour
comments
ago
right
to
now, you're
remember
probably
what
going
it
to say
was.
that's not true.
First of all, it's a fist fight, but they're like throwing back suplexes. They're throwing wrestling moves onto the concrete, and they're getting up. That's not realistic. Okay, John Cena drops you with a back suplex. You ain't getting up, especially on the concrete. All right? I'm mad now.
I think there's a level of raw human emotion that's revealed in that They Live fist fight that is not present in either of the overly stylized Hollywood glossy fights
I
that
think
the
that
two of
the
you
Karate
are
Kid has more
representing.
human emotion than most fights that you can think of in cinema history.
Well, then I think you can win the best human emotion award can go to the Karate Kid's fight, and the best fist fight award can go to They Live.
If you're talking overly stylized, too, you're talking about They Live, which is something that lasts like 7 minutes. The thing is so long. It is so unrealistic. It's just, it goes and it goes and it goes, and then you think it's done, and it goes again, and then they drop each other again on the concrete. I mean, it's ridiculous. My movie, it's a minute and a half. It's sloppy. It's down and dirty. This is what a fight is. This is the most realistic fight, meaning it is the best. And also Jared Leto gets the shit kicked out of him really bad.
We don't know if you like or not.
I don't know if I like him or not, because I haven't met him.
You don't even
So I don't know if that's a pro or a con that he gets.
I'm just saying.
It happens.
All right, I'm going to use that as sort of your final thoughts there.
Okay.
Evan,
I'm comfortable
final
with
thoughts?
that.
I think that if you're trying to watch a movie fight to pump you up before a big meeting, before a big date, you're gonna watch Karate Kid. It's such a triumphant moment. I really think that you can't get any better than the moment when he hits the crane kick. I think that uses the fist of the lower body right to the face of Johnny. I don't think it gets any better than that. And I think for that kind of real satisfying moment that a movie fight delivers, a fist fight, it's definitely the kick.
I think if you're looking, I think if you're looking for a fist fight that was ahead of its time, both in its racially progressive casting and its stylized length, I think you're gonna want to choose the fight from They Live.
Dan?
Yes. Well, everybody online, a lot of people are surprised that no one picked any of the Rocky fights. They didn't know if boxing was disqualified, but those are hand-to-hand combat
They
fights.
weren't. They could have.
We thought about. I thought about
choice
it.
not to.
I thought
Conscious
about
choice.
Rocky.
A couple of people, including Sean Murphy at Smurfbait, suggested Edward Norton against himself in Fight Club. Evan Coyne at Evan Barbarian. Round 1, Neo versus Agent Smith in the subway after everyone's lost their guns.
Fantastic fight.
Hamza Juzer, the Inception rotating hallway fight. I saw a lot of people suggest that, actually. Megan Amber, Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris in Return of the Dragon. As far as what is the longest continuous fist fight between two characters, I did find a one-on-one fight in the Raid 2 in the kitchen. However, at one point, weapons were employed, so that would potentially disqualify it from the longest continuous fist fight between two characters. So right now, all evidence is pointing to They Live as being, as far as pure fist fights go, potentially holds that record. And looking at the final scene in The Karate Kid, it seemed like a fairly equal deployment of hands and fists in the fight between Daniel and Johnny. However, the crane kick, of course, the killing blow was a kick.
Were you able to confirm that feet are the fists of the lower body?
I personally do agree with that feet are the fists of the lower body. So factually, I can't really confirm it, but I will agree with you there.
Factually confirmed.
Yeah.
All right. Based on the arguments, I mean, even though the feet are the hands of the body, I think they did sort of get you improving. The parts we remember are the kicks, and the question is,
I knew that was
what
going to
is
be
the best fist fight? Is the question at hand I'm staring at. Good opening argument. But
I realized that was going to hurt me.
Yeah, but so it went down to Mike and Van. I wanted a little bit more from Van on the pair, but he sold me on why it works. And you did, you both also gave me good reasons as to what Fight Club. Did Mike pick the best one? You were so stuck on fighting Jared Leto and the fact that he got so beat up, but then you wouldn't really confirm whether that was a good or a bad thing. So it sort of became a non-issue because, yes, he gets beat up, but I don't know if that's a pro or a negative. So I got to give it to Van. I think They Live ends up getting.
Sorry, boys.
Okay. Close call, though.
Twitter found it to be a very close call as well. Currently, right now, jockeying position 38% to 36%. Ed Norton and Jared Leto have the lead over Karate Kid. 26% voting for. Well, the option says Roddy Piper versus Keith David. I wonder if perhaps if They Live had been, but still very close. Very close on the Twitter poll. Yeah, it's a
now that the round's over, Mike, if you did just watch it, it's a pretty good fight.
Which is a good
They
fight.
Live.
Yeah, it's good.
That's great.
Pretty good.
I should have picked it.
Yeah. We should have all picked it.
They didn't. All right, here we go. Round 2. This is crazy. Which there was some reason we did this. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the news with something.
He's insulting Trump lately.
How did this come about?
Arnold Schwarzenegger has been in the news. He has a new movie coming out, I think, or something. I don't know.
Max.
I didn't put.
Do you remember
Max? Why did we do this question?
Oh, he's looking it up.
He's looking it up.
Anyway, there was I forgot. I remembered it, but there was a reason this was topical. The Celebrity Apprentice just ended. Congrats to movie fighter Matt Iceman for winning.
That's right.
Yeah.
Movie fighter and now Celebrity Apprentice
winner.
champion.
Very nice guy. All right, but hey, whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll get to that later. The question is, which Arnold Schwarzenegger character would kill all the others in a battle royale? So we got to keep that in mind. Every Arnold Schwarzenegger character he's ever played is in the ring. They're all who's gonna be the last one standing? Evan, it's your turn. Who are you picking?
I'm actually picking real Arnold from Pumping Iron, the documentary. Do I go right into it, or
let's hear it. Let's hear them all, and then we'll come back. Fan?
So I've chosen the Terminator to terminate the rest.
Which
of these
Terminator?
The original Terminator.
From the Terminator.
From the Terminator.
Mike?
I am picking the iconic character of Arnold Schwarzenegger, John the Eraser Kruger, from the hit film Eraser.
It's the one with the crocodile, right?
It's the one with Vanessa Williams and crocodiles.
That's right. Arnold is rumored to play Ares in the Wonder Woman film.
Is that right?
Yes.
Ah.
That is why.
Neat.
Whether that's true or not.
I'm going to fact check that rumor while we're doing this.
Anyway, good reason to get this fight on the books. All right. We have Pumping Iron Arnold, as in AKA real Arnold, versus the Terminator Arnold versus John Eraser Kruger. Great. Evan, back to you to start.
Okay. Obviously, Arnold Schwarzenegger has played a lot of incredible and deadly characters. But the most incredible one is real Arnold Schwarzenegger. And if you see him in Pumping Iron, he's, this from a small town in Austria who became a bodybuilder, who then look what he would go on to do from Perseverance. He would become the biggest movie star in the world. He would, not satisfied with that, go on to become governor of California. Not satisfied with that, he would bounce back from a personal scandal to revive a television show that was embroiled in controversy. There is nothing that Arnold Schwarzenegger cannot do, including defeat his alter egos of other characters that he played. And, to speak specifically about who these guys are going to talk about, Terminator, he's always leaving. Hence his, catchphrase, "I'll be back." So how is he going to be killing everybody if he's leaving? Because the question is, who would kill all of the... So if this battle royale is happening, I'm imagining that Terminator is leaving. And so he's not going to be there to kill every other one, because you think these other people are going to be doing some killing in his absence. And, and this speaks to all of them, is what all these are fictional characters. They're not locked in time. They could change. They could be rebooted, and they could be worse versions rebooted. So, real Arnold is real Arnold. That's the end of it.
Okay. Van?
The Terminator film introduced James Cameron's Terminator character, who the entire character is defined by being an unstoppable killing force. That's the entire point of the character. That is what he does. In all of the sequels, no matter how destroyed or gone he is, another Terminator always appears, either from the future or they've discovered the old Terminator and he's still around. So I think that in a battle royale, especially with the endurance required to defeat all of the other Arnold characters and Arnold himself, you're going to need a Terminator who, even if he's defeated, he comes back. He will be back to defeat everyone else in the battle royale.
Mike.
All right. John the Eraser Kruger has one very important thing going for him. He is a U.S. Marshal, and he is backed by the power of the judicial system of the United States. I think if we have realized one thing in the last few weeks, it's that the judicial system is very powerful in America, and it trains men to be very deadly killers. All right, this guy is somebody who has to round people up. He's in firefights. He is a dangerous hombre. That's what the language I like to use. And also on top of that, I looked up who has killed, of the three of these, who has killed the most people in their respective movie. It is clearly John the Eraser Kruger at number 20, at 29. He's 29 kills. Real Arnold has nothing. Terminator has like 11. So that's statistics, folks. That's a real thing. That's a real number.
All right, fight it out, guys.
You're just assuming that real Arnold has not killed anyone. I would say it's maybe possible that he has, but he's so persistent.
Are you saying on this program that Arnold Schwarzenegger has probably killed someone?
No, I'm not saying probably. I'm saying that he is so perseverant and so capable that if he were, we'd never know about it.
Look, I need to know facts here. Arnold, if this was a sex contest, real Arnold wins in a second, okay? If this were a governorship, I would say, sure, yes, he of course wins. But this is a murder. I need to see Arnold really murder a man to know if he could be a great murderer. Because I don't see it.
I think in the Terminator films, it is implied that that Terminator robot has committed hundreds and hundreds of murders and killings off camera.
This is the same problem. Implied.
Whereas I think it is implied in Eraser that this is a particularly difficult experience for the Eraser, and that the kinds of kills that are happening during this encounter in his life are exceptional. And while he does rise to the challenge, it is not something he's so used to as the Terminator himself.
I think this is a perfect argument because this shows John the Eraser Kruger in a situation much like a battle royale, going up against many different people.
I think that if we were trying to have a who could produce the best fake identification competition, or who could be scared of crocodiles the most competition, then maybe John the Eraser Kruger could win those. But who's going to win in a battle royale? No chance.
Guys, I didn't want to do this, but I am afraid I have to invoke the Galaxy Quest doctrine, which states that an actor could do the abilities of the characters they play. If you've seen the film Galaxy Quest, Tim Allen, who's just an actor, he just plays a commander of a starship, is put in a situation where he needs to actually command a starship, and guess what? He knocks it out of the park. I contend that Arnold Schwarzenegger has played the most deadly version of all of these characters. He'll be able to do it. He knows how to defeat the Terminator because he is a Terminator. He knows how to defeat John Eraser Kruger because he is John Eraser Kruger, and he's also Kindergarten Cop, and he's also a lot of other deadly people.
Well, by this very same logic, then, doesn't John the Eraser Kruger have the abilities of all the other Arnold Schwarzenegger characters?
No, because he's not an actor. No, he's not an actor. He's a fictional character.
I hate to do it. I don't want to do it, but I have to side with him.
All right, so that's the rules.
What would Last Action Hero Arnold be able to do?
Last Action Hero would. I am very glad that no one picked Last Action Hero Arnold.
All right, this has thrown me for a loop.
In fact, now that you mention it, I should have picked Last Action Hero Arnold.
Look, John Eraser Kruger has an EM1 railgun. It's that cool gun that's got the lights, the scope, the green scope. These other characters don't have that. All right?
John Kruger finds himself terrorized the entire film by this slightly advanced by 1996 technology railgun. And you think he's going to be able to defeat the Terminator, a deadly killbot from the future?
Now, Evan, can you help me confirm that Schwarzenegger himself could kill a man?
Yeah. I think that if you look, what is Arnold doing right now? He's taking on the President of the United States. Takes a lot of courage to do that. I think that Arnold Schwarzenegger, what would he shy away from in his life? Is there anything that he's ever shied away from? I mean, when he ran for governor, it was laughable. Lots of people have killed men.
Just tell me, how would he kill a man?
Like physically?
I'm on the fence
by any means necessary. Weapons. No, seriously, weapons, physical force, using the other people in the battle royale against each other by using his brain. So hey, Terminator's over here, John Eraser's over there. Guess what? Duck. They kill each other. Okay.
All right, I'm going to use that as your final. Go ahead, Mike. Final thoughts.
Terminator. Okay, first of all, Terminator is obviously if it's the first Terminator, he loses to one cool lady. Okay, there's one lady, and she's cool, and she's competent, but he loses to her. I understand he comes back, but he loses. Look, I think not only is John the Eraser Kruger a badass who can kill people with his advanced railgun, his EM1 railgun, but also he has killed many people off screen by bringing them to the United States judicial system and having them tried in a court of law.
So has Arnold Schwarzenegger as governor.
I'm trying to ignore that argument because I can't think of a fun thing to say against it, because it sort of wins you the whole thing. So I'm just sort of ignoring it and hoping that I win. People have gotten the death penalty because of what John the Eraser Kruger has done. And that means he's killed a lot.
Final thoughts, Van?
My final thought is, and this came up earlier, that the Terminator will be back. And in a battle royale scenario, I think what's going to happen, no matter who seems to be the victor, be it John Eraser Kruger or be it Arnold himself, as soon as it feels like there's one victor left standing, that Terminator is going to return. He's going to be back, and he's going to be the victor.
Just like real Arnold returned after a scandal in his personal life to host Celebrity Apprentice.
The ratings are terrible on Celebrity Apprentice.
Terrible.
Also. Sad.
Dan?
Well, in a round full of nonsense, unfortunately, Mike, you picked a statistic that's easily disprovable. I found multiple. I've found multiple sources that have used video evidence to determine that John Matrix from Commando racked up the highest Arnold Schwarzenegger
I said of
body
these
count.
people.
Oh, of these people.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Still,
But
Very
in
odd
general,
no one picked him.
Yeah.
it is very
Or
odd.
Mr. Freeze.
Or Mr. Freeze,
Or-
Conan, Hercules,
didn't kill
Dutch
anyone.
from
Dutch from
Predator.
Predator.
John Kim Booth from Kindergarten Cop would have been a nice choice, I think. Online, a lot of people. Actually, this is going to Kim Hanley at Kim Hanley. Arnold from Junior. None of the other Arnolds would kill a pregnant dude, so he could kill them while their guard is down.
I did think about that.
Eric Monroe got to go with Ben Richards from The Running Man. He's proved he can survive a battle royale. There is a large contingent online that is very much behind Arnold in the Turbo Man suit from Jingle All the Way as the winner of the battle royale.
That is a high-powered suit.
And
I
Chewbacca
don't know if he
defense.
can kill either, though.
Adam Gibson from The Sixth Day, because even if he dies,
Sixth
he
Day.
has a clone out there. So basically saying that he
I
has many
respect that
clones.
logic.
But yes, Mike, of the ones selected, yes, Eraser, he does have the highest kill count. But there are multiple characters. Harry Trasker, also Predator, and Total Recall. He has a higher body count total. So
Yeah.
This was a very interesting round. I got to be honest. Yeah, I think you even sort of admitted defeat there at the end there, Mike, when you admitted that he could outgovern your governor guy. So I think Mike's out, which then gave it to Evan, which then surprisingly, who I thought had not a shot in hell at winning this, really brought in an interesting argument. But Van did have a very good closer at the end. He will always be back. Ooh, man. Shane, what do you think?
The Galaxy Quest. The Galaxy Quest
Doctrine.
doctrine just really threw me for a loop. My gut says Terminator, but I gotta go Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, that's where my gut is too. I mean, that was just, no one's used the Galaxy Quest doctrine yet. The first use of it, I mean, man, I guess that's a thing now. You just create a lingo on the show.
All right. Well,
Galaxy Quest doctrine is going to take it over the edge just because I was very creative. So
Thank you.
kudos, Evans gets the point on the board.
Thank you.
Mike, your friends are beating you. What's going on here?
Look, I don't want to make an excuse now.
Sorry, Evan. Sorry, his name is now the face that runs the place. From now here on, from out the show. Okay.
I would like to point out also, combined, the Terminator has more combined kills throughout the franchise
Yes.
than Eraser. So
Those
while
are different Terminators.
I just
I
know,
agree.
I know that
You got to pick
people.
one Terminator.
I know that people do this and they research the show. So I just want to point
Yes.
out the
If you
fact
add
that
all
if you combine all
Yes.
T800 models together, they would hire.
The one in Terminator is different than the one in T2, right?
They are different models.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
they are all different models. So
All right.
it's a gray area, Andy.
Yes, fair enough. Glad you, but thank you. Yes, because we would get picked apart.
Oh, did you want to know what Twitter said?
Oh yes, actually, and we didn't get it on either score. Go ahead.
77% voted for the Terminator, 12% for Real Arnold, and 11% for
Wow.
John Kruger from Eraser.
Well,
Vanessa Williams, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
shoots
the
crocodiles.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I did remember liking it. It was
I
better
think
than
it-
End of
yeah.
Days or Collateral Damage.
I think it might have been an alligator. I think
alligator?
it was an alligator.
Sorry, yes, thank you.
Because he says your luggage.
Your luggage. What, you can't make
Oh, yeah.
crocodile luggage?
I think you can, but I think alligator luggage is much more
Better?
common.
More
yes.
okay. All right. Now you see the true
Still
fact
funny.
checks.
Still funny joke.
All right. Apparently, in the new Han Solo movie, they will be having a new droid introduced, a female droid. This is news all over the web, so, which is exciting. So we wanted to ask something fun here. We want you to pitch your own Star Wars droid. What's the droid's name, title, what kind of droid is it, what's the personality, give us a scene for it. And also, I did say bonus points if you provided a visual aid. So if you did that, I will check a little half point to start the battle with. So we're going with Van. You're up first to pitch us your new Star Wars droid.
Okay, well, I was going to try and draw it really quickly just to get those bonus points at the last second, but I'm going to pass on that.
You're allowed to while during.
No, it's going to be enough of a...
you don't need it.
You're going to hear it in the words, and you're not going to need it.
Love the confidence.
I was always fascinated by how C-3PO's first job was programming binary load lifters. And he's a protocol droid, so it begs the question: do binary load lifters need to be conversed with? And so I've decided that a binary load lifter bot named Loader, that's L0AD-3R, would be my Star Wars droid. And basically, he's like a loading dock droid. He's kind of a blue collar droid, and he used to know C-3PO back at C-3PO's first job.
So they go back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, come back and hear more. Mike?
All right. Grand Moff Tarkin and other Grand Moffs need help during the day because they're very important. They have a lot of things on their plate. So much like in the olden days, they need help dressing. So I'm coming up with a valet droid. Valet being the way it's described on Downton Abbey. And my robot is named HU5D, like help you for the day is what it means. And this is him.
HU5D.
HU5D. And here he is. That's up on the screen, and it's also...
I love the watch chain.
Well, yeah, he has to be kind of fancy, too. It's because he's helping a Grand Moff, which is a very important thing in the Empire. And as far as his personality goes, he's English, he's sassy, he's exactly like C-3PO, exactly like K2SO, exactly like all the other English snooty droids. We love it.
He's another sassy English droid.
Right.
Okay, great.
We stick with what works.
Evan? Sorry, face that runs the place?
Yes, thank you. Well, I think Mike touched on it, and stick with what works, and that's why my droid is R2-D3. And look, I'm going to be the first to confess this. This is a cynical choice, but I think it's actually the most realistic and the most likely that would be in a Star Wars movie and that would work the best. It's exactly like R2-D2, but it's pink and it's a girl. And I think that, so as far as I think it would be fun that R2-D2 meets another droid that is kind of similar, and she's kind of, they get a little flirtation maybe going. I think that R2-D2 has been for all his beeps and boops, he's kind of humanoid, or not humanoid, personified. He has a personality, and wouldn't it be great to have another one of those in the franchise? So that's mine.
All right, fight it out, guys.
Well, first of all, there's a pre-existing pink female R2-D2 style droid, R2-KT, who I believe was designed by, I may not be accurate on this, but a girl who was diagnosed with cancer. So I think for Evan to attempt to replace that droid with his droid is
wasn't going to say it.
Is really like it's really a shocking action, and I believe he did it knowingly. He may play dumb. But I think he should be disqualified for that.
I was unaware. It is actually a different shade of pink than that one. So it's slightly different, and it's not at all to replace that very sad story.
I mean, Mike, we're almost at a knockout here. Would you like to help knock him out?
Yeah, I also think it's shameful.
I just have to say, not standing up for myself, but attacking my friends. Where's this picture? This is not what droids in Star Wars look like. They don't wear clothes.
We've never seen a droid that dresses a man before.
And we never will.
Because we want to see what Grand Moff Tarkin is alive. Now, thanks to amazing technology that made me think that Peter Cushing was still alive, we want to see we want to see a Grand Moff Tarkin movie where he's just getting dressed in the morning, where he's eating breakfast, where he's getting aided and going to different spots. We're gonna, whether we want it or not, we're getting all these movies. We're getting a Tarkin trilogy, okay? We're getting these movies forever. We want interesting, fun characters, and we want a character like this, H25D, to help him out.
And are you saying he has human hands?
This is an early draft of him. This isn't necessarily an early association. He will have robot hands, but he will still have a cane because it's sort of a fun thing.
So it's purely decorative, the cane.
Yes, the cane is to make Grand Moff Tarkin feel like he's sort of he's he's an English guy, so he kind of harkens back to another time. Obviously,
a time in the future, because Star Wars is a long time ago.
You don't know what the past is in Star Wars. You don't know what that past
so
is.
It might be similar to our past.
It's similar to our past, but it's not the exact same past. Okay, it's a quirky look.
We've heard a lot of. What about
he wears a suit?
What about load 3R?
So load 3R, he's a binary load lifter. So you've got to realize that means he's lifting two things, not just one. He's not some sort of unitary load lifter like over here. We've got H25D who's lifting maybe a jacket or a shirt or a cape at a time. Loader is lifting giant. He's lifting spaceship parts. He's lifting weapons for the Empire.
What's he sound like?
He sounds like this. He says, hello. He's got a lot of sort of, there's a lot going on. He's grunting because he does so many heavy lifts, and he's constantly working, and so that's the sound.
My character talks a lot, and that's fun. Okay,
and
these two characters don't talk. Oh, hello there, sir. Grand Moff Tarkin, good morning. Would you like the scrambled eggs I've made you?
That brings me to another concern.
He cooks as well, yes.
I believe your droid may just be R2-D2 dressed in a suit. Or, I'm sorry, C-3PO dressed in a suit.
He's exactly like C-3PO. He just has a different colored head, but he sounds exactly like him. You're right. We know we like an English droid. We've seen 2 movies where we go, that guy's great.
Andy, let me ask you a question. You're at Toys R Us, okay?
Yes.
They've got new Star Wars toys.
Yes.
What are you imagining most likely to see? This weird suit guy with maybe human hands or maybe robot hands, this big, bulky, you can't even fit it into a box, or just something that looks exactly like a droid you've seen before with a different color?
Well, look, took out the cancer patient.
That part.
I'm sorry, I know you were talking to Andy, and I hate to interrupt, but I want you to know that a toy of R2-KT was made, and I believe the sales went to cancer research. So you're asking about creating a competing toy to the cancer research toy.
Would yours go to cancer research as well?
Yes. More. In fact, Kathy Kennedy has agreed to match all funding. So it's even more.
Okay. Well, I think Evan's out.
Yeah. Sure. Fair.
Last closing arguments for Mike and Van. I'll be honest here. Van got the extra point, even though he didn't have the picture, for being able to knock out Evan the way he did. But Mike did bring the visual aid, so you're still in this, Mike. Closing argument to take each other out.
This is he's created essentially like a Flintstones character that's like, it's a living, like that's what we're talking about here, okay? That's not that fun. Ladies and gentlemen, this is fun. This is fun, baby. Twitter, back me up.
I think I'm going to let Mike's argument be the end of my argument, which is take a look at that picture, let him hold it up, remember it in your memory, and ask yourself, does this look fun? Is this my idea of a fun time?
Right there.
And then ask yourself about a huge loading dock with spaceships landing, taking off, all kinds of suspicious packages being moved around. It's an exciting place. That sounds like a fun action sequence ready to happen.
All right, Dan.
This was interesting for me. I never thought I would be Googling things like, do droids wear clothes? I will say that, Mike, you said that Grand Moff Tarkin was English. He was actually born to a wealthy family on Eriadu, so I think you could actually say that he is erudite. That is his nationality, not our Terran English.
Fair.
The issue of droids and clothing, I will quote you from the Star Wars wiki here. They don't need to wear clothes. However, some of them adopted clothing either because of a personality quirk in their programming or because it was ordered by their masters. As a matter of fact, C-3PO once became a droid icon for daring to wear clothes. Many people thought this was a pivotal moment in droid history. So,
is that canon?
Was
that thrown out?
I don't know what's canon anymore. It was portrayed in a Star Wars piece of fiction at one point. So it's not unheard of for droids to wear clothing. It is rare, however.
All right, and we have a poll.
We have a poll, but
is very hard to follow.
The poll is just the names of the droids, so it's pretty close because I don't think anyone knows what we're talking about.
Well, wait, does R2-D3 win because it's the most familiar?
Well, we'll see in a second.
I won't tell you.
Based on the arguments, I mean, there were 2 questions asked to me. Which one would I buy in the store, and is this fun? And the answer is, on both of them, it's Mike's. I definitely would buy that. A Butler version of C-3PO.
Yeah, it was good.
It definitely seems a little fun. So I think you both, when you task those questions, you dug your own grave. Mike gets the point. Dan, based on the Twitter poll,
Our Twitter viewer, I mean, this could just be who came up with the best name. Right now, with 40%, HU5D is winning. Loader has 31%, and R2D3 is actually in last with 29%.
you were really hoping.
Yeah,
it's
going
a
to be
sequel.
vindicated. All right.
So there you go.
All right. Well, that was fun. Round 4. Here we go. Guys, the Oscars are coming about.
Yep.
Excited
Yes, they
for
are.
that. What's it? February 24th? Sunday?
It's a week from Sunday.
Week from Sunday. And guys, we'll be streaming our annual Watch Party Live. You're all welcome to come by and watch the Oscars with us.
Thank you.
We'll be live on Screen Junkies, chiming in along, having some fun. But stay tuned. Come back to Screen Junkies YouTube, and we'll be streaming live the Oscars, so stay tuned. In honor of the Oscars, though, we thought we have 3 funny guys here. We want you to pitch a sequel to one of this year's Best Picture nominees. Has to be one of the year's nominees for Best Picture. Tell us what the sequel is. We're back to you, Mike. What's your pick?
Okay, La La Land is very controversial. Some people think it's, been overpraised, it's been over-nominated for things, but here's the thing. I have a sort of a different gripe with it. I feel that the movie is a little bit old-fashioned, like they're talking about people wanting to be, a jazz singer or maybe a movie star. These are sort of 20th century ambitions, aspirations. I want to see a sequel to this with a little bit more of a realistic 21st century vibe. So that's why I'm pitching La La Land Online. Okay? These are 2 characters, one who wants to be a successful YouTube music star and make parody videos of popular songs, and the other who wants to come to Hollywood and work on a movie debate show, who wants to argue for and con against different movie topics.
So 2 completely useless people.
2 complete. Well, I don't want to make a judgment. I'm just saying I want this to be. Again, I don't want to say anything bad about Mr. Leto, but I'm saying these are 2 people that have more different online, some digital aspirations, is what I'm saying.
Okay. All right, we'll hear more. La La Land Online was your title. Great. No La La Land 2, just La La Land Online.
Correct. There
Okay,
were not
great.
going to be a number.
Evan.
Okay, this Hacksaw Ridge, great film. It's about Desmond Doss, who was a pacifist who did not want to use a weapon during World War II, served admirably, saved something like over 40 people at Hacksaw Ridge. So the sequel, it's called Doss Jr., and it's about Desmond Doss's son, and it's Vietnam era, okay? And he's also played by Andrew Garfield, it's like, because it's his son, he looks just like him. And Vietnam's coming, and he's a pacifist like his dad, but he's also very patriotic just like his dad. And he's seeing all the anti-war movement of Vietnam, and he's not liking it. So it's actually a reverse in the sequel. Desmond Doss is going to go to Vietnam, and he's going to fucking kill people. And he is going to really go for it. And it's like, so it's a real turn. We saw in Hacksaw Ridge a pacifist at war. What's it like a non-pacifist at war? And we'll get Mel Gibson back if you're worried if he can do the brutality.
Take him off Suicide Squad 2.
Yeah, if you're worrying if he can do the brutality and the violence, he can. So it's going to be a real violent Vietnam movie with Andrew Garfield as Doss Jr.
All right, intense. Van.
So my favorite of the Oscar movies was Hidden Figures. I love the space program, and I love learning about sort of these unsung heroes of the space race. And so my sequel is really the launch of a new franchise of Hidden Figures-like films called Even More Hidden Figures. And these would be about figures that also are additionally also hidden, but they would be equally more hidden than the figures you learned about in Hidden Figures. So they're even more hidden figures. So you've heard less about these figures even than the figures in Hidden Figures. Now, I haven't done any research yet into what the figures were, but I'm guessing if you look hard enough at anything, there's going to be a hidden figure there. I'm sure Columbus had like a Native American guy who would fix his boats, something like that.
So we're leaving the space.
Oh yeah, we're leaving the space program, but then we're coming back for the Russian space program, where there was probably like a French guy that nobody liked, who'd like moved to Russia a while ago and just was an engineer.
I'll be honest, this doesn't sound very fleshed out.
No, it does not. More Hidden Figures. I feel like everyone comes prepared except for Van. I don't think that he's done the preparation. He should have had at least one more.
At least mention a single figure that might have been hidden.
So I think.
All right, well, while they're debating, I need to hear one single figure that you're
right.
selling with.
Now, talk about a hidden figure, though. Desmond Doss. An even more hidden figure, Doss Jr., his son who may not have existed, who goes to Vietnam and goes crazy and, single-handedly wins the war for the Americans.
This sounds just really horrifying and scary.
Exactly, and I think it's an anti-war movie, just like the first Hacksaw Ridge. But instead of showing you a pacifist, you show a real maniac at war, and you see how bad that can be.
How bad a maniac is in war.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's just murders constantly. It's just he's murdering.
Yeah, he's just.
Is he redeeming
his own men?
Is he redeeming it all?
At the end, there is a real poignant scene when he gets back and he sees his dad, Desmond Doss Sr., played by also Andrew Garfield, and he says, "You were right. I should have not used a weapon."
Well, that's very convenient for him to say at the very end of the movie. Look, I don't
But
like
you
the
get to
fact
have
that
the
this,
fun of him killing a lot of people.
I don't look, again, I'm a very anti-violent kind of guy, and I don't care for the violence of this, and it goes against the actual message of the first movie, and that's so as far as you're betraying sort of the spirit of the first movie.
Well, at the end, though, he says you were right.
I don't think that should count, but that's just me.
Van is meanwhile Googling.
I've yet to come across.
I also got to go on the attack. Your movie sounds horrible.
Fine.
Your
Why?
movie sounds horrible. They sound like even more unlikable people than the people in La La Land. You're trying to score cheap points by saying that it's, like someone who does movie debate shows. It does not sound good. You haven't specified if it's a musical. If it is a musical, you should sing a song from it.
Yeah,
It is
okay,
a
let's hear
musical.
some of the songs.
Well, okay, because I have a song.
I didn't think you would.
It's not fully written out, but it's called Somewhere in the Crowdsource. And it's about this gentleman trying to crowdsource a music video for his hit song that's a parody of Katy Perry's Roar called Gore. And it's leading up to this last election cycle saying we should have Al Gore run. I don't have so there's a whole song like that. There's a song called City of Content Providing Stars. These are all similar to the songs in the first movie. I'm just saying this is something the kids need to come out to these movies. All right, Oscars have a problem. Kids don't come to see these things. Kids need to see something.
Will it star Vine stars?
Logan Paul is in discussions to star, but there will be Vine stars in it. But we will only pick them if they can do the job and act. Because some of these Vine stars are not the greatest actors.
All right,
in the
Van,
world.
you've been Googling feverishly.
In the late 19th century and the early 20th century, female computers at Harvard University helped calculate.
Female computer. Oh,
Yeah,
that's what
female
they call them.
computers.
Yeah,
That's what they call them. Oh, you
Sorry.
didn't think a computer could be female? Is that
Is
that what's going
R2-D3
on?
technically a computer?
It helped calculate the locations of stellar bodies and did some
So
incredible.
it's just the same as Hidden Figures.
no, they're even more hidden figures because you haven't heard
but they're
about
also
these.
in
But they
NASA.
weren't that hidden if you easily Googled them.
Well, it wasn't easy. It took me like 7 minutes.
Were you on
at
the
least.
dark web? how hard could it have been if they were easily... With one Google search, we found this figure.
Well,
Not that
none
hidden.
of you seem to know about this until I uncovered it.
At the end of the movie, he says, "You were right, Dad. War is bad."
Oh, these are terrible.
Our female lead is trying
Shane,
to...
which one would you buy a ticket to?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably the La La Land online. If I
Of
had to.
course.
Mike
Of
gets the point.
course. Of course.
I think
There you go.
that's fair.
I think that's where it went. Good job, Shane. Thanks for that. The public had to deem that one for me.
The public, that's what the public is currently in the. It's in a La La Land Online is in a neck and neck race right now with more hidden figures on our Twitter poll. Some good requests from Twitter. Tom Zambino said Arrival 2 Departure. I like that.
I mean, that's actually good.
Neil Varma. Neil Varma suggested Fences 2, more fences.
Bigger
gone with a
fences,
deck.
maybe.
I like
gone
this
with a
one
deck.
from Sean Murphy. A sequel to Hidden Figures called Hidden Fingers. Where are they? I don't know. It's a mystery only NASA can solve. I like that. And then several people suggested Hidden Fences, which is the movie that so many other people have already invented. Already at these award shows and on the
Didn't
red carpet.
someone have an alternate pitch of Sunlight?
Yeah, I did. I should have gone with the
Yeah.
Sunlight.
I had
Anyway.
an Arrival sequel where we took the fight to the home planet of those aliens.
Ooh,
It's not really a fight, though. They're here to help.
No, I know. We're going to teach them.
them, right.
We're going to teach them.
Screw them for trying to help us. All right, question 5. Mike, you've made it to the end now. So Evan or Van, one of you needs this point to make it to our speed round.
Okay.
Question 5. What series should cross over with the 50 Shades franchise? Now, keep in mind, I know you gave us some broad examples, but I'm going to now push you. Give me the specific. What are we going to see in this hybrid that you're creating? Evan, you're up first. Who are you connecting with the 50 Shades franchise?
I'm going with the Avengers movies.
Okay. Well, let's hear what you're doing, and then we'll come back, and I want to hear how you specifically would connect those two.
Okay.
Van, where are you taking 50 Shades?
I'm taking 50 Shades to the Lego universe, where I think the different accessories involved in the movie, whips, chains, etc., can be perfectly realized in Lego form.
Mike?
I am going with the DC cinematic universe.
Ooh, we got the DCU, the MCU, and the LCU.
3 U's.
All right, back to you, Evan. Give us what's your Avengers 50 Shades crossover?
Okay. I think that just speaking macro lead to begin, the 50 Shades franchise, some of the worst reviewed films of all time. The Avengers franchise, some of the best reviewed Marvel movies, some of the best reviewed franchise movies ever. So from the 50 Shades franchise, it makes a lot of sense to kind of boost the
At
reviews.
least get a middle.
Yes. For the Avengers point of view, while those movies are great and very successful, you could maybe knock them that they're a little safe and they're a little sexless. They're very much Disney and they're very PG-13. And if they're going to keep on making these movies, you're going to have to explore different, areas. And you're going to have to go to maybe they're not always, fighting a bad guy that's another twist on the version of the hero. So I think that what we do is we just have basically a 50 Shades. So none of the characters from 50 Shades of Grey, but the plot and the sexual content with Avenger characters. I think, honestly...
Which Avenger characters?
I think that, I think we go with Scarlett Johansson's character. I think
Black Widow.
Black Widow. And I think, as far as I think that, there's a lot of, I think that maybe Tony Stark, maybe, but I think that you could also be flexible. And I think that I would like to see actually a series of films with different characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe having romantic relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
Van?
So, I think if it may seem unexpected to have the Lego franchise crossover with and combine with the 50 Shades of Grey films, but I think if you look at the success of Deadpool, you can see that, there are adult films that can be found and tied to universes that otherwise seem like they maybe were more appropriate for family films, like the X-Men films at Fox. Furthermore, I think that the Lego style and the 50 Shades style, a lot of different, first of all, 50 Shades, that's 50 different colors of gray, and you can get gray Legos, all 50 of those shades. But also both franchises have a real emphasis on accessories. And so I think you can have a lot of fun with Lego Christian Grey, even more so than Lego Batman. They similarly both sort of have caves of sorts. They both sort of have an array of, he might refer to them as sexual weapons. But I think there's a lot of fun to be had seeing those on camera.
I mean, it's wildly inappropriate. I'll let Mike.
Mike?
Well, I'm going to pick something that's not inappropriate. The DC universe. They're basically the movies already. They're basically sex movies already without the sex. We're talking about movies that are very dark, very brooding, very much filled with aggression. Like if you put a scene where Batman's with a dominatrix getting his balls stepped on in the middle of any scene in Batman vs. Superman, it makes sense. It's totally fine. Like it fits into the universe. It fits into the tone. You're like, yeah, that guy seems like that's what he would be, like a crazy investment banker that likes to get some woman to beat the shit out of him when he's not doing things. Okay, this would fit so perfectly into these movies. Okay, the DC universe movies are not for children. They're adult movies filled with people that are angry and have these repressed feelings and aggression. Like these two movies, these are kids movies. First of all, these two gentlemen might be perverts, first of all, because these are kids' movies. I don't know why they want to pervert it. The DC movies are not for children. They're dark. They're for a very angry type of 30-year-old dad.
Well, so first of all, I think with Deadpool, I proved my point that, Deadpool was an R-rated film. It was not for children. And children were, in fact, not permitted to see it without the accompaniment of a guardian. But Mike, I hear you talking about how well the two film series fit together in your example, and I agree with you, and that's exactly why I think your answer should be disqualified. I think you're going to end up with a product that is indistinguishable from the existing DC Entertainment Universe films.
I completely agree with Van. And hey, I'm fighting for my life here, so I'm going to be very aggressive. I think that the Lego 50 Shades of Grey is so wildly inappropriate. There is, you give the example of Deadpool, which is not accurate because there is a long tradition of more adult superhero movies, including the Dark Knight movies. And while Deadpool did push it further, at least there's a tradition of that. With Lego movies, all of them are for kids. The toys, Legos are for kids. There's Lego television show, that's for kids. All the Lego movies have been for kids.
Evan, let me ask you a question.
No, hold on, let me finish. 50 Shades of Grey is, in its nature, sexually inappropriate. That is what they are selling. And even just introducing kids to the idea of 50 Shades of Grey, that they might want to go see the original movie, I mean, it's a huge liability, and it's offensive.
Okay, go ahead.
Evan, have you seen the Lego Batman movie?
I have not seen it yet.
Well, let me tell you. I think if you see it, you'll see that it's a slightly more adult film.
Is there a sex
No, it's
scene?
not, but it's a slightly more adult film than the original Lego movie. And I think that you can plot a very, very long trajectory from the original Lego movie, the Lego Batman movie, Ninjago, and then very far along up here, you'll see that trend line will hit right there at 50 Shades of Lego Grey, somewhere around 2027.
I don't want my kid playing with I don't want a kid that I have not playing with a regular Lego, but playing with a Lego where, you can lift his penis and it goes up, like on a Lego toy. I don't want.
They would make it.
They're going to make it if they're going to do this, and people are going to get confused, and all of a sudden kids are going to get corrupted because all these toys now have boners. We don't want boner Lego toys.
We don't. I think that I think that's definitely the case. And
I just want to say, in keeping with the Lego cinema style, the characters in 50 Shades Lego would not physically be able to do any movements or motions that the Lego toys themselves cannot.
Is this movie going to be sexy? What is this movie?
It's going to be kind of sort of that fun, flirty kind of sexy, yeah.
Oh, but just flirty. Because 50 Shades is much more than flirty.
Well, you're limited with Lego. You're limited with Legos because they have very few joints where they even move, and they're pretty solid. I believe the pants don't come off. They're painted on. They're permanent.
This is a movie that people who like Lego movies will not like, and people who like 50 Shades of Grey will also not like. This is a movie for no one.
I want to point out that a lot of the sexuality in the 50 Grades movies is intellectual. It's in the mind of the participants, and not just in the bodies.
But if you're not giving us what we want in 50 Shades, you may as well not be a 50 Shades. You got to eventually get to the good stuff, baby. You know what I'm talking about?
How are we getting that in each of your films? Go ahead, Mike.
Here's the thing. Marvel Universe doesn't make sense. Marvel is very much for kids. When somebody might have sex, they'll probably cut to the curtains or whatever. And
we want to get rid of that.
We don't want to
switch it up. I think we do. After a certain point, we do want to switch it up.
Let Mike
Batman
finish.
versus Superman. Superman just gets in the tub with his clothes on. That seems like it would be in one of these 50 Shades movies. It would not. If that thing just continued, it would be like he handcuffed Lois to the tub and was submerging her head, and it would be weird, and everyone would be like, "Oh yeah, this makes total sense. This would be perfect."
Again, that's what I think disqualifies your choice. But I want to bring this back to what toy from these movies would you buy if you went into a store? And I think the 50 Shades of Grey Legos makes a great Valentine's Day gift. I think it makes a great gag
of
gift.
Walmarts and all these stores if they were selling 50 Shades of Grey.
I think Diamond Select, specifically in comic shop toys, would make a Superman doing water play with Lois toy, okay? And people would buy that because there are a lot of weirdos out there.
Dan, hey, clean up there, Tad.
There are a lot of weirdos in our Twitter feed. There's some of these suggestions I've seen. Rival Tag says, Saw, throw Christian Anastasia in a jigsaw trap that they can only escape by displaying convincing chemistry. Dan Brown, Indiana Jones and 50 Shades. He already has the whip. Sarah Bear, 50 Shades of Twilight, bringing 50 Shades back to its origins. Aaron Charles at Random Run 13. Batman and Robin would fit perfectly with the 50 Shades movie. I do want to go back to last round because we got a suggestion tweeted in for that I love. Manchester by the Ocean, depression just got a whole lot bigger. I think that's your winner. We have the Twitter poll right now is neck and neck. Yeah, it's too close to call right now between two of the options. So we'll see if that straightens it out by the time you're finished.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to see sex in our Avengers movies, and you didn't really sell me on what you're envisioning. I had trouble figuring out which Avengers.
Well, sure. I'll take the note, but I think that if one came out, it would be a huge hit. It would make a lot of money.
But I think it does make a little bit more sense in the DCU. Mike made a very strong argument, but then Van made a very strong argument that's kind of too similar. It's almost indistinguishable, which I really did mark. I kind of like the fun and flirty vibe, and the accessories would be fascinating. I got to give it to Van. Van, you're in the final against Mike.
Sorry, Evan.
That's okay.
So bravo, Evan. Good work.
Thank you. It was great to be here.
You should definitely write that Lego movie script.
No.
No, you shouldn't. I'm just kidding. Dan, what did they say online?
Well, let's see if it's. Ooh, this is a close one. But right now, by a margin of 44 to 41%, Lego is winning the fan poll. Only 15% voting for Avengers movies. So Lego and DC are the two front runners. Right now, it looks like Lego's got the advantage.
Wow, it's rare they agree with me, but it happens. All right, guys, we're going into speed round.
Okay,
this is fun. If you've seen the show, you know how this works. You have a chance to win 5 more points. You guys are tied. This is important. Mike has played it, so I'm giving the refresher to you, Van.
Thank you.
You will have 20 seconds on the clock to answer, and then 10-second rebuttals. You will both be answering at the same time. Whoever says their answer first gets that choice. If you both said the same answer, whoever heard it first gets it. If you are the second person, you'll have to say a second option. But it is.
And then we're answering, and then we immediately go into our 20 seconds.
Just throw out your answer, and then we'll pause for a second. I'll tell you what's going, and you'll get your time. The time will start each round. The time starts when you begin speaking your argument, but you can pause before we start.
Okay.
Everything makes sense?
Yeah, I just want to make sure he knew the rules.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay. So again, you have to spit it out quick.
Okay.
We'll be listening to see who got it out there. Okay. Give me the name of the character, an actor, who gave the worst Batman villain performance.
Uma Thurman.
The guy who played Bane in Batman and Robin. I can't remember his name.
I know the name.
Shit. I'll accept Bane.
Bane
from Batman and Robin. You were specific enough. Okay. I don't know who played him either, but
I'm looking it up right now.
You picked Bane and you picked Poison Ivy. Uma Thurman, yes?
His name was Jeep Swenson.
He's a pro wrestler. He's deceased.
Ooh. Okay. Here we go. Time will start when you begin speaking, Mike.
Uma Thurman took a character, Poison Ivy, that is a very subtle, very seductress character, and turned her into this over-the-top crazy thing. And what the biggest crime actually about it is that it's not even memorable. When everyone makes fun of that movie, they're making fun of Arnold's lines, they're making fun of Clooney's lines, they're never even mentioning Poison Ivy. So her crime is actually that it's the most unmemorable performance, in addition to also being...
Van, 20 seconds when you begin speaking.
Jeep Swanson took an underrated Batman character, Bane, and he made him a laughingstock for almost 10 years. And I think that The Dark Knight Rises proved that Bane is and can be one of the greatest villains in Batman's rogue gallery. And if it were up to Jeep Swanson, we would never know that because he gave a very, very stilted, limited performance that did not show the range of the character.
10 seconds, Mike.
This is a character that doesn't have any lines in the movie, so I don't really think it's Jeep Swanson's fault. I mean, this is a character that did not, I don't think, had a sentence. So, like, he can't do anything. That's the writer's fault. That's not... Uma Thurman had lines, but did not give a...
I think in The Dark Knight Rises, you learned that it doesn't need to have a lot of dialogue to show how terrifying Bane can be. This performance is very subtle and physical in that movie, and it could have been in this one as well.
All right, time. Now, Evan, you were listening. Based on the arguments,
Right.
who do you think gave the better argument?
Oh boy. It's tough. I would have to, based on the arguments alone, I guess maybe I go with Jeep.
Interesting. Mike sort of stole it away from me, especially in the second half. I got to go to Shane and Dan. What do you guys think?
Well, the fact that Bane didn't have any lines stole it for me, so I gotta go with Mike.
I would also edge a little towards Mike myself. Yeah.
Yeah, the closer really closed it for me. I got to agree with them. Mike gets the first additional point.
Writing partners have to stick together, I guess.
Yeah. Not the ones who brought you on here, right?
No, they don't know.
Here we go. In honor of Taken coming to TV, what's the greatest ever Liam Neeson performance?
Schindler's List.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Ooh, we got Oscar Schindler versus Qui-Gon Jinn. Often confused. No, they're not. Qui-Gon. Here we go. Mike, you're up first.
Schindler's List, one of the most important films of all time, and Liam portraying Oscar Schindler, a man, a caring man, somebody who has to emote and has to do a lot with certain parts of the performance that are very little. He is somebody who has to show you the kindness of an entire a movement. He's a person that has to embody a historical figure, which is.
Van?
I think that Qui-Gon Jinn is a better Star Wars character than any of the new characters created in The Force Awakens. I think he has a mastery of the Force and a depth of knowledge that has been shown by almost no other Jedi, and I believe that that's due to Liam Neeson's performance.
I believe that Qui-Gon Jinn is only memorable because it's the only decent performance in a movie full of bad performances. Schindler's List is an amazing movie, and Liam Neeson rises to the occasion by being even as good as the movie as far as writing.
Final 10 seconds, Van.
I think being the most memorable and best part of a movie versus being just an actor in a wonderful, fantastic film shows that it's a better character.
Ooh, interesting. Coming over to Dan and Shane first. What do you guys think based on the arguments?
Well, surprising to say, I think I'm going to have to go with Van with Qui-Gon Jinn. Just
Surprising.
He's memorable in a bad movie.
Dan?
It's real close. I think I would edge toward... I thought Mike addressed the acting a little bit more, the performance a little bit more, but it's so I think I would edge toward him a little bit, but it's very close.
Evan, based on the arguments, take your personal preference aside.
My Jewish faith. I'm afraid I can't put that aside, so I will disqualify myself. But I would have said Mike for Oscar Schindler, but I'll disqualify myself.
It was really tough. So we're sort of Dan took an edge. It was interesting. I didn't think you had it actually, Van, but then you did really give an interesting reason as to why that is actually a decent performance. I gotta say, a slight edge to Van. The fact that he was able to even come close to sort of making me question whether Oscar Schindler is better than Qui-Gon Jinn. I got that to me gave the edge of why I'm gonna give you the point. So we're even again. The kudos, because I didn't think you were gonna get that. In honor of the new Team Thor short, which Avenger would make the best roommate?
Captain America.
Hawkeye.
Okay, we have Hawkeye and Captain America. You spoke first, Van, so that means your turn to go first. 20 seconds when you begin speaking.
A major part of Captain America's story is that he can disappear for 30, 40 years at a time, which is a fantastic kind of a roommate to have. He's never around, and you don't have to see him. And when he comes back, he's a powerful guy who can save the day, and he's an all-American guy who'll do the dishes.
Okay. Mike?
We've seen Hawkeye's house. We've seen that he knows how to live with a bunch of other people. Captain America usually, we've only seen him live alone. And if he disappears for a long time, where's that rent money coming from? That's not good unless he pays 30 years in advance. Hawkeye has kids. He has put up with a lot of different situations as far as a roommate is concerned. He knows somebody who's wild. He has to be the consistent guy. He has to be one that is level-headed.
Hawkeye is a lower level ranking official than Captain America, and he gets a smaller salary. He has a worse house. It's in the middle of nowhere. I wouldn't want to live with him, and I'm not sure why Mike does.
I think the ranks have nothing to do with it. Hawkeye is a very important member of the Avengers, and his house is a beautiful house that we've seen, and it's in the middle of nowhere. Captain America, unfortunately, is a guy that's negligent. He can disappear for
Man, that rent one stuck with me.
Yeah.
What about on the couch over there?
Yeah, that's the silver bullet. Yep.
Evan,
I agree. The rent was a knockout.
kudos to Mike. Point to Mike. All right, here we go. What animated character?
What?
A
bolt fell off my chair.
What animated character should join the Fast and the Furious franchise? I think go Roger Rabbit.
Duckman.
Gonzalez.
What'd you say?
Duckman? USA Network's
yep.
Duckman?
And versus Duckman versus Speedy Gonzalez. All right. There we go. I heard Duckman first. So Van, you're gonna go first.
USA Network's Duckman, voiced by Jason Alexander of Seinfeld fame, was a 90s edgy cartoon character who I think is perfectly in keeping with the sort of edgy, slightly throwback tone of the Fast and Furious films.
Some more time on the...
Oh, hey.
Left a lot of time on the board. Okay, Mike.
Look, we want a character that's going to keep up speed for speed with these different cars and these different people. That is why Speedy Gonzalez is the logical choice. This is one fast mouse, folks. All right, we're talking about this duck over here. It's like a Robert Crumb, whatever, creepy duck that wants to get laid. That's not going to fit tonally with these Fast and the Furious movies, all right? Speedy Gonzalez is...
All right, use them wisely. 10 seconds.
Duckman.
I think if you watch the Duckman cartoons, you'll see that he has an edge and an attitude and a quippiness that is perfectly in keeping with the kind of repartee that you see in the Fast and Furious movies between the various members.
No one's seen Duckman, first of all. And Duckman's biggest thing, I think, is that he's horny. Am I wrong in remembering that? That's like the main thing with him? My character's main thing is speed. Why wouldn't he be in these movies? He's gotta...
Oh man, that was pretty good. I gotta say, I think Mike took that one pretty closely.
Yeah, I think you won on the answer and the arguments were.
I gotta just, it doesn't matter what anybody says, I gotta declare Mike Carlson our winner today! Congratulations. Bravo. Always good to have you on. You did great. Really crushed it there at the end. But kudos, Van, Evan. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you had fun.
Thank you for having
us.
us.
Great job.
Thank you.
Let's go around again. Mike Carlson, where can they find you?
I'm Fat Carlson, PhatCarlson at everything, Twitter, whatever, Instagram. I don't know, really. I'm in a movie on May 5th that comes out called Handsome. Directed by Jeff Garlin. If people want to check that out.
Yes.
Maybe this is too early to plug.
Too early. Come back closer.
Anyway, see their movie, Fist Fight, though. I've seen it. It's very funny.
Evan Susser at Evan Susser on Twitter, correct?
Yep.
Anything else you'd like to plug? The movie, obviously, this weekend, tonight,
the movie,
if you're watching
Ice
live.
Cube, Charlie Day, Tracy Morgan's first movie
fun.
back since the accident, and also the Doughboys podcast, Tournament of Champions, coming up in March.
Cool. Van Robichaud at Van the Brand on Twitter.
I want to let everyone know I'm at Van the Brand on Twitter. If you want a Van sticker, you can go to van.media. And also, if you want to find out more about my texting service, Mitch.pizza, where you can text comedian and actor Mike Mitchell, just visit http://mitch.pizza.
You can send him a pizza?
No, you can send him a message, text messages that get directly delivered to his phone, or you can send him mail that gets driven to his house.
Him?
Yes, he's not happy about it.
It's real, though.
But the main thing is Fist Fight this weekend.
Fist
Fight this weekend.
Theaters.
Theaters nationwide.
Dan Merle at Merledan on Twitter.
Sorry, I'm looking at our speed round poll for the Liam Neeson question and wondering why we said Professor Oscar Schindler. He was many things.
He's not a professor.
He was a man of many great accomplishments, but I don't believe he was a professor.
Whoops.
Everything of Professor Xavier.
Did that taint the results?
No, he won.
lost anyway,
At Merle Dan on Twitter. And Dan's Labyrinth every Monday on Screen Junkies Plus.
That's right, 4 p.m. live.
We're always
Pacific
talking about the
Standard Time.
newest releases, and you can call in and say hello and all kinds of fun stuff. So
Shane, did you have fun today?
It was awesome. Thank you.
Anything you'd like to shout out?
Nothing, Ricker. Just happy to be here. Thanks for letting me have me.
Thank you for watching. We love you guys, all the fans out there, and for you for coming in. You can find me at Andy Signor on Instagram, Twitter, and all that jazz, and on Facebook, where I do try and get more of your questions. So check me out there. But awesome show, guys. Thank you so much for coming. See Fist Fight. We'll be here live after the fight on Screen Junkies Plus. So stay tuned. Bye bye.
Every podcast we put on YouTube comes with this kick-ass graphic listing all the topics your favorite Screen Junkies podcasters are talking about. If you click the topics, you can skip around and choose your own podcast battle royale. Go ahead, try them all. If you haven't already, subscribe to Screen Junkies on YouTube to join us for future fights. Or if you prefer to listen on iTunes, click the logo to download an audio version.